Pizza Margherita and the sandwich. Two dishes. Both among the world's most recognized flavors. Foods we eat, order, and prepare every day. Quick bites that appear in our lives in dozens of varieties. Yet behind these seemingly ordinary flavors lie the traces of crowned nobility and history-changing events. These weren't just meals. Each was born from a unique story. Margherita wasn't simply food. It was a national symbol. The sandwich emerged at the edge of a gambling table. Every bite tells a tale, and every dish holds a secret history. In this video, we explore flavors immortalized by the power of titles. In our next video, we'll examine dishes that fell victim to geographical mistakes. 2 words. 2 dishes. 2 stories. Tales that forever changed culinary history. Our story begins in 1889, in the magnificent yet socially divided Naples. This was not only the steamy, fragrant birthplace of pizza. It was also a city where the divide between noble extravagance and common poverty was at its deepest. That summer, Queen Margherita di Savoia, the charismatic queen of the Kingdom of Italy, came to visit. Her visit wasn't mere courtesy. It was an effort to bridge the gap between crown and citizen, to forge a political bond. At the time, pizza would never grace the ornate, gilded tables of aristocrats. It was a cheap, quick meal eaten by Naples' poor on street corners. The queen wanted to shatter this rigid class barrier, break protocol's chains, and connect genuinely with her people. She had grown so weary of the palace's stiff, heavy French menu. She summoned the era's most famous pizzaiolo, Raffaele Esposito, to the palace. Her bold decision was to try an ordinary folk dish. This wasn't just about satisfying hunger. It was a symbol of building a bridge between palace and street. This unexpected, small gesture would forever change the course of culinary history. By the Queen's command, this honorable duty was given to Naples' most skilled baker, Raffaele Esposito. For Esposito, this wasn't just a cooking job. He had to honor his country's queen and immortalize himself through his art. The pizza he would make had to be legendary not only for its taste, but also for the meaning and political symbolism it carried. Esposito's source of inspiration was even greater than the queen herself. The vibrant colors of the newly unified Italian national flag. These colors symbolized a nation's destiny, the spirit of independence, and hope for the future. The baker chose his ingredients with great care, almost with a painter's precision. Red tomatoes represented passion and the fertility of Italian soil. White mozzarella symbolized purity and the kingdom's honor. And finally, bright green basil represented hope, freedom, and the future. Esposito placed the pizza before the queen, carrying these 3 national colors in aesthetic harmony. It was no longer a poor folk meal. It was a living painting of a reborn nation, created by a baker. Queen Margherita was deeply moved by this creative gesture, carrying the national flag's colors. She ate the pizza with great pleasure and appreciation. This wasn't just a flavor. It was concrete proof of her people's loyalty and their desire for unification. Baker Raffaele Esposito immediately took action to show his gratitude for the queen's sincere satisfaction and generosity. He made the simplest but most powerful marketing move in history. He gave the pizza the queen's own noble name, Pizza Margherita. At that moment, this ordinary flavor instantly transformed into a national symbol, the embodiment of the honor, pride, and new national identity the Italian people felt. Now, it was an immortal marker of identity. However, the fate of all flavors is not determined by a nation's honor or a noble queen's appreciation. History shows us that sometimes the birth of a flavor comes not from the highest virtues or political gestures, but from ordinary human weaknesses and personal whims. Now, we move to the story of the other noble flavor, born not of honor, but of a passion, even an addiction, that changed the course of history. The sandwich. The story of the sandwich opens a door into the magnificent but corrupt England of 1762. The scene was the dark and smoky places, where the ambitious clubs of the noble class and high-stakes gambling were popular. Our main character is not only an aristocrat, but also the First Lord of the Admiralty, John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich. Earl Montagu was far from the formality of statesmanship. He focused on his true passion, the card table and the addictive mystery of card decks. His devotion to the gambling table was so extreme that he would consider leaving the hours-long game sessions a true disaster. For him, leaving the game wasn't just a meal break. It was an act that would disrupt the flow of luck at the table. He strictly refused to go hungry. Yet he didn't want to risk his cards and expensive tables with greasy hands. This personal whim would not just be an ordinary problem. It was the beginning of a demand that would change all culinary history. Earl Montagu was determined to stay at the gambling table no matter what. His hands had to remain free, and the cards absolutely had to stay unstained. Facing this situation, he gave a clear instruction to his servants. Place the cold meats between 2 slices of bread. There would be no need for either a fork or a knife. The purpose behind this ingenious solution was simple but necessary. To prevent the greasy meat from staining his most precious treasure, the playing cards and the table's cloth. Thus, the birth of the sandwich occurred with such an ordinary whim. That practical snack known by the whole world. Montagu, to be honest, didn't invent the meal. He just found a practical solution that served a noble purpose. However, the important thing was who first ate this food. The other admiring nobles around the Earl immediately adopted this new, useful food. They made requests to their servants as Montagu eats. Thus, an Earl's name earned social status. For an ordinary meat and bread combination. But sometimes names hide the simplicity and even the weakness of where they came from. A whim born from an Earl's endless passion for gambling changed the world's culinary vocabulary forever. And that flavor became immortalized with Montagu's name. Here we have 2 noble legacies. 2 contrasting and striking origins. One is Pizza Margherita, representing national identity, the spirit of unity and love. With the red of the tomato, the white of the mozzarella, and the green of the basil. The other is the sandwich, representing selfishness, gambling passion, and mere practicality. With meat squeezed between 2 slices of bread. Both were made from extremely simple ingredients that required no culinary genius. But their fates were completely different. One went down in history with a queen's honorable gesture. The other with an earl's personal whim. Those noble titles forever sealed the fate and history of these 2 ordinary foods. Now, while eating a slice of Pizza Margherita, you can imagine that political and sincere historical moment. When a queen took pride in her people. When you take a bite of a sandwich, you can remember the hidden happiness of a lord. In the games he won at the gambling table, hesitant to stain the cards in his hand. These 2 striking stories are the strongest evidence of how personal, accidental, and filled with great events culinary history can be. Because when a dish is named after its eater's deep desire or noble title, it is no longer just a simple recipe, but history itself. Remember, the origin stories of foods are much deeper and more impressive than the taste taken from them. But culinary history does not consist only of events written with the power of titles. In our next video, we will look at the greatest geographical and cultural errors of the culinary vocabulary. We will examine 2 great and confusing flavors, whose origins are misunderstood. The turkey from the wrong continent, and Scotland's Indian dish. Imagine a bird that bears the name of a country, but never came from that country, becoming popular in a completely wrong place. Or a dish created by mistake, that became a national symbol in a continent it didn't belong to. The greatest geographical confusions of culinary legends await you. Continue to enjoy the taste of knowledge with us. And don't forget to join us. 2 words, 2 dishes, 2 stories.